Welcome, everyone. This is Donna Marie Saratella with Direct Selling Solutions. You know me as the Queen of Compliance. I am the owner of Direct Selling Solutions, which is a business designed to educate the general public about the many benefits of direct selling while remaining legally compliant. So we do provide a number of services exclusively to direct selling companies. But first, we're going to talk with Gerry Nehra today, and I want to give you a big introduction because there's lots of information to share about Gerry. For those of you that don't know, Gerry spent 9 years with Amway, including 7 years as the director of the legal division. Now, that position allowed Gerry a unique exposure to the direct selling industry through the day-to-day handling of legal challenges of the world's largest MLM direct selling company, Amway. So Gerry's taught me a tremendous amount about this industry. He's taught many people a tremendous amount. He's been a frequent guest speaker on direct selling issues, averaging 10 presentations a year for 15 years. And he's also written numerous articles on the industry. So just a side note, I've known Gerry for, over 25 years now. We've worked together on some very interesting cases. We've laughed together when he visits Las Vegas. We go to the shows. And just in case you don't know this, Gerry loves playing bridge, traveling all over the world with his wife, Peggy, and their friends and their family. Welcome, Gerry Nehra.
Thank you, Donna, for having me. I'm honored and delighted that you would like me to do one of the segments of your training, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for agreeing to share your wisdom with myself and with the MLM Squared audience. MLM Squared is a course that we're developing and we're implementing right now. And what it is it's almost everything you wanted to know about direct selling, but you didn't know you needed to ask. So it's a program for the general public, and it's teaching everything from compensation plans to products. So we're encouraged to have people come to the program and learn more about the direct selling industry. So let's get started talking with Gerry about this industry. And just from right off the top of your head, if you have 3 pieces of information or advice for someone joining a direct selling company, what would those be?
Well, I've given this a lot of thought, and I'm sure there's more than 3, but the 3 that I thought I would mention in this segment is, first, absolute and total belief in the product or the service that the company is offering. It is so vitally important that your commitment and your enthusiasm to the use of the product or service will be the game changer for you. Mm-hmm. Secondly, I believe that you really need to learn, love, respect, read frequently your distributor manual and the how-to literature that comes from your company about how to deal with your products, your customers, the company headquarters, and maybe your uplines. Distributor manual and the policies and procedures might seem a little dry for you, but I urge you to give it your attention because it will be incredibly valuable to you. And the third thing is kind of a concept. It's the concept of being on guard. And I say that in a way that I really mean that you want to be on guard to emphasis. You want the people that you are associating with in this new venture to share with you the proper and the emphasis on the delivery of quality products and services to the end user consumers versus the emphasis on recruiting yet another income opportunity seeker. Both are important, but the emphasis primarily has to be on delivering the product or the service to the consumer, because without that, there is no legality, and we're in a compliance segment here, and that's so incredibly important. So those are the 3 that I came up with, and I'm sure Donna will have more in her training, but those are my first 3.
Those are great ones. And belief in the product is absolutely imperative. You can't sell something you don't believe in. So that's definitely right up there with the ones. Well, let's talk about the independent distributor. What do they have to do with compliance, Gerry? I talk to independent distributors all the time, and they think the compliance department is separate and it's just a horrible department. They never want to hear from them. And, they don't take responsibility for some of the compliance issues that come up in a company.
Okay, so Donna, this is the leading question that gets me into something that I didn't know that would happen to me in my career in this industry. But we're reporting right now that every, and I mean every, interaction I have had on behalf of Amway and then on behalf of all of my other private clients when I began my private practice with a regulatory agency has had as a major element of the interaction distributor conduct. I thought when I went into this that my interaction would be maybe focused more on defending the design of the plan or the structure of the how-tos, but that's not the case. Every interaction was about what the distributors were doing with the method of distributing products and services using direct selling and using a multi-level form of compensation. So in answer to your question, the one-word answer, what does an independent distributor have to do with compliance? The one-word answer is everything. Everything.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. That is critical. Whatever they do or say affects your brand and your company ultimately.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's talk about choosing the right product. What would be an important thing to consider when you're choosing a company product?
Well, I struggled with this when you sent me the questions, and I think fit, F-I-T, and by that I mean a product or a service that to get to an end user consumer maybe really needs a little bit of help. It needs some explanation. It maybe needs some stories around it. It needs some testimonials. It needs some experience by the distributor themselves who are using it in their own home. And you don't sell salt and pepper and bread and butter and eggs and cheese using this business model, because you don't need a person at your side to walk you through or help you. So I think that products and services that are a better fit for this business model are those that can be augmented in the sales techniques through an informed and an independent distributor who really believes in them and wants to explain them and make them work for the end user consumer.
Okay, great. And let's talk about the intrinsic value of the product. The product can't just be something that's not valuable or that doesn't have the value in it. What do you have to share with us about that intrinsic value?
Well, I think I even wrote one of the articles on my website that's called The Story About Intrinsic Value. Yeah. That is a legal element that is so critical in that it is the legal reason for the business model of using an independent contractor representative to be the intermediary between the company and the end user. So products that have the true intrinsic value, that are not just a token to try to legitimatize an otherwise improper or sometimes illegal or sometimes pyramidal structure that really has as its overall intent just trying to recruit more and more income opportunity seekers. Mm-hmm. Without intrinsic valued products, the attempt to design a plan that only involves recruiting more people who recruit more people is illegal. Mm-hmm. It will fail. And Donna and I have seen hundreds of them fail, unfortunately. So intrinsic value, a true product or service or multiple products and services is so vitally important.
Mm-hmm. And we shared a client way back at the turn of the year 2000. It sounds like it was so long ago. We worked with a company that didn't even have a product, that the owner had no intentions of delivering a product. It was an illegal pyramid, and it went down in regulatory flames. But it was the first one that I experienced. There was no product. There wasn't a product.
There were some bad guys out there. There's fewer and fewer of them today, but there were some bad guys out there that thought you could be in the business of just promoting an income opportunity. Get more people who get more people who get more people. It does not work. It is not legal. Stay away if you sense any of that activity.
Okay, well, that's good advice. Now let's talk about some of the legal concerns when you're starting a home-based business today. What do you need to think about before you get going?
Well, I think that you need to be willing to be a reasonable keeper of records and keep your records separate from your personal life and running your household, because record keeping is going to serve you so well with the IRS when you decide to do your income tax return at the end of the year, or you go to a man or a woman who you trust and pay them to do your return, and you bring them your records. You will be entitled to very legitimate home-based business legal deductions if you keep good records. So I would urge you to keep in mind on a legal basis that is incredibly important. The other legal concern is what you do and how you do it is there's a guideline for that in your distributor manual and in the company's policies and procedures. And I would urge you to, on purpose, read them and be familiar with them, because again, the company who wrote them, and often with Donna advising them, and other lawyers like me and others advising them, wrote them so to help you succeed and to help you stay out of any compliance challenges at all with the state and the federal regulators who look over this business model. So those are the two legal concerns: the how-to manuals and all of the information you have available to you. Read them, follow them, and then be a good record keeper.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about final thoughts for the newbie just getting going. What would you share with them?
I would first want to welcome you to this exciting business model industry. It's called direct selling. It has as a form of compensation about 95% of the time multi-level direct selling. But before it even went to multi-level, it was just a gigantic direct selling business. I was in, believe it or not, Winona, Wisconsin a week ago on a Mississippi riverboat cruise, and we spent 6 hours in Winona, and I was in a gift shop, and there were signs all over the gift shop, and there was a segment of the gift shop filled with Watkins products. Watkins products started in Winona, Wisconsin. There's still a successful direct selling business, and they and Fuller Brush back in 1902 were, I believe it or not, two of the either 15 to 20 original members of the Direct Selling Association. So you are joining an industry that has a long and varied and respectable and honored history, and you have Donna Saratella assisting you in staying on the straight and narrow and keeping out of any regulatory challenges. So I would say, welcome. Be a good record keeper. Pay attention to your how-to manuals, and be dedicated to and be a believer in your products and services. That is the absolute key to success.
Well, thank you, Gerry. Those are some fantastic words of wisdom. We thank you for sharing your expertise with our viewers today. And if any of our viewers want to learn more about MLM products, compensation plan, if you know anybody that needs to learn about these things, just have them join us for MLM Squared. And you'll be able to find us on social media under Direct Selling Solutions. And we thank you for joining us, Gerry. This has been great. We've got you on recording now, so we've got everything all set. We appreciate you being here.
Can I give you one final comment?
Yes, yes.
You made a reference to an article or two that I've written. The articles that I've written are still on my website, MLMATTY.com.
Very good.
And Donna has given me some praise for some of those articles, so I know that she's read them and likes them. And I think you'll find some valuable information there too.
Thank you so much.